Breaking news. Discover how you can escape this corrupt healthcare system. With suppressed medicine that has remedied millions from Japan, Indonesia, China, and the Middle East. These suppressed medical remedies have reduced tinnitus superscript 2 and the incessant ringing in your ears, reduced joint discomfort, and supported a healthy inflammation response without NSAIDs or painkillers. And they can even trigger your body's feel-good hormone superscript 3 known as GABA, which acts as an all-natural painkiller and mood booster that works naturally, without side effects. The reason why you've never heard of these remedies is because doctors, physicians, and even pharmacies have been bought over by Big Pharma. The Hippocratic Oath that doctors swear by has never protected you. Nazis even used the Hippocratic Oath to justify their cruel experiments, simply because they thought it was right, and that it would help their patients. Now Big Pharma is using the exact same Hippocratic Oath to hold pharmacists and doctors at gunpoint, so that they can raise their drug prices while you pay the price. More than ever, doctors and pharmacists are being used as distributors in the Big Pharma cartel, exploiting you when you need medical care the most. One pharmacist in New York in 2019 was forced by a gag order contract that legally silenced him from showing patients cheaper and more affordable drug options in the market. For example, the standard diabetes drug metformin would normally be sold at $4. But with Big Pharma's gag order contract, they were forced to artificially raise prices to $10 a bottle. Why could they do this? It's simply because they control the entire pharmaceutical supply. And if pharmacists and distributors don't listen and play nice, Big Pharma will take away their rights to sell their product and pass it on to the next pharmacy that's willing to raise their price. This short presentation is my confession to being part of the Big Pharma scam. My name is Dr. Freddie Masaki, or you may know me as Mr. Freddie Masaki. Very soon, you'll find out why I gave up my medical profession because of the harm that it was doing. I saw how corporate greed had completely taken over Big Pharma. In fact, the CEO of the hospital that I used to work at was making $1.43 million every single year, while I was just getting by barely being able to feed my beautiful wife and 2 kids. And I was feeding his machine, harming my patients with Big Pharma's prescriptions, and it was so bad, I wanted to throw up at their malpractices. Big Pharma's head honcho executive Martin Shkreli had jacked up the price of Daraprim from $13.50 to $7.50, bankrupting the patients who needed it most. And my faith in the healthcare system was torn apart when I saw the consequences of following the system that I had learned in med school. When I was working at the hospital, I had a patient come in with a bad case of rheumatoid arthritis. Johnny's joints were aching, and his immune system was eating into his cartilage. He was living in pain every single day. He couldn't walk, he barely could move, and he had his life taken away from him by this terrible disease. And I administered the usual advice, which was to provide him with OxyContin and NSAIDs. In just weeks, my medical advice had torn him apart. I saw his condition get progressively worse, and every time he came back, he needed a higher dose of painkillers, as his body had grown used to the dosage. I told him that I couldn't give him any more prescriptions, because he was going close to overdosing. And he didn't stop when I said no. Soon after, Johnny began doctor shopping, hopping from physician to physician, just so that he could get his dose of pain relief medicine. And as his addiction grew worse, his wife would call me to help him, and I didn't know the answer. It was as if she couldn't recognize him anymore, and she had to be on call 24/7 just to support him throughout the day. His dependence on painkillers made him drowsy, impairing his ability to speak, and he even needed her help to tie his shoes. What started off as a case of RA turned into a life-stealing opioid addiction that made him a walking zombie. Something was terribly wrong with the healthcare system. And while doing my research, filled with doubt about my very own medical profession, I discovered that most of our doctors and procedures were secretly killing America's seniors. In a study where doctors went on strike in 1976 to 2003, they found that the mortality rate had dropped because there were less surgeries, less emergency treatments, and patients had the opportunity to recover on their own. With Johnny set on the dark path filled with opioid abuse. So overall product is the good, and I recommend this product, so if you purchase from my link in the description I will provide this bonus. In order to get that bonus you can contact me on MUI Instagram and send me a screenshot of your purchase and I will send your bonus. And you can see here's a risk-free way for you to try out the Encyclopedia of Natural Remedies for 60 days. So overall product is good.